You are back for another episode of the Passion and Persistence podcast, and I am so stoked to have you here. Every single episode, I say how excited I am to have you here listening, but each and every time, it remains true. I created this podcast to inspire you. You, right now listening, you're out there in the world somewhere, and maybe you don't feel capable enough of reaching your dreams or goals. Or maybe you do feel capable enough, but the people around you don't see that capability. They don't see your power. They don't understand your passion. Maybe you've hit so many obstacles and so many circumstances are stopping you that you feel like giving up. And I am here to tell you, do not stop. Because with passion and persistence, anything is possible. You know, I was going to throw in the towel on this entire podcast. Crazy, right? When the name itself is about being persistent, I was going to quit because I have so many things that I'm juggling at once with my business, with being a mom, which is learning about life, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. All of that was super draining, and then I threw this podcast into the mix, and I thought, what did I get myself into? So I took 2 weeks away from this podcast, just judging myself and looking back at the previous episodes and wishing they were better based on the production that I did with them or the way the graphics look, just silly things like that, just picking myself apart. And then I stepped back and I remembered, this podcast is not about me. It has nothing to do about me and my pride and my ego and all the things I have going on. This podcast is about you. And so I'm putting all of that aside to show up, to remind you that we're here for you, literally, specifically for you. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends and family about it, or somebody that's going through something that needs a little more fire inside. Take a screenshot while you're listening or watching and upload it to social media, and be sure to tag us at passion.and.persistence. The episode that you're about to listen to is absolutely amazing. We had the opportunity to talk with Linawa Shaffer, an absolutely amazing photographer and creative soul who happens to be a mother as well. I've had the opportunity of witnessing Linawa build her dream business while simultaneously building a beautiful, thriving family. And I have been so inspired by her passion and her persistence that I had to have her on this podcast. And what perfect opportunity to have her on right after that big gap of me about to give up. Talking with her reminded me once again why I started this podcast. Talking with her reminded me that the things she's gone through, I've gone through, and you've probably gone through. And talking with her reminded me that there is so much more to life than chasing a dollar bill, chasing all of the things everyone else thinks that we should be. It's about the passion that you have inside of you, and not everyone's going to understand that. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this episode. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Passion and Persistence podcast. I'm your host, Elena Mitchell, and today we are in a beautiful studio. I have Linawa Shaffer here, who is an amazing, amazing photographer, and I'm so excited to learn more about her journey and share it with you all. So, without further ado, Ms. Linawa.
Oh, hi. Thank you for coming all the way here.
I know. Thank you for having us. This is the cutest little studio I've ever been in. I absolutely love it.
It's a good space. It's small. It took a while to get used to, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's passion to you?
Oh my gosh.
Just jumped right
not
in.
even awake. Okay. That is a deep question. Passion. I think passion is something that you're born with, or something.
Right.
Or some things.
Yeah.
And you can't really make it go away.
It's just
Hence passion.
Yeah, it's just hunger inside for something.
Yeah.
So did you always know you were passionate about photography, or how did this
No.
How did it evolve?
No. Well, art for sure. So artists run on my dad's side of the family.
Same.
Okay, yeah. And my family always catered to, I guess, those talents that I had. And my grandma was an artist and a successful one. And when she was retired, she lived in Florida and she paid for all my art classes.
Wow.
And they were really good art classes. And um, even though my parents thought academics were important, I'd like skip school, I'd get Fs, I'd change my report card. Art was always consistent. I remember my dad took me to Michael's sometime in high school, and he spent a couple $100s on a drafting table with a light. They always encouraged like just art. So anyway, was drawing with charcoal and pencil. I was doing like nude drawings in high school, like going to the classes at a local place, and I loved it. Now my dad opened up a photography store, and he catered to the students at SPC. And so it was all black and white darkroom stuff. So they would go there with their list from the teacher, like this is what we need to make prints and develop film, which a lot of people do not understand right now. So he had a store and he sold all that stuff. Now he also had his own dark room where he could, if you brought in black and white film, he'd develop it and make prints. And then we had 8 enlargers in the back, and it was a giant space to develop film, and there was a revolving door that you'd go in.
Wow.
So me being his oldest and in high school, I had to work there.
Awesome.
So he actually taught me how to develop film for work. So I was developing film before I ever even picked up a camera.
Wow.
A camera as far as, with black and white and with film and everything. And I was there a lot, and these kids would just hang out. Their parents weren't really watching them, and I would shoot these little kids outside.
Cool.
That's literally
not shoot them down.
No. Yeah, take pictures of them. And it's just funny because my dad and I would butt heads on everything, but when he taught me photography, I listened.
Yeah. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So you're fulfilling, or you're continuing his legacy, his love of art through that.
I guess
so.
He started in the dark room when I was a baby.
Right.
So I was actually exposed not only to just art in general, but to black and white. I mean, we weren't really allowed to watch TV and stuff. So if you were bored, you were busy, or you needed to be learning. So I would look at pictures. And he still has the same books, and he's always adding to his collection. But I would constantly, I can't tell you how many times I've looked at like famous, portraits of photographers. And I think it just got embedded it was like I was learning and didn't even know it.
Yes, that is so cool how that works. And you were like working backwards. You were already seeing the finished result, and now you're learning how to make it happen. You know what I mean? That is super, super cool. Wow. So along the way, you knew you loved photography after being in the dark room and stuff and working in that area. Along the way, when did you say, I want to turn this into a full-time business?
So that was when I was in high school.
Wow.
I mean, no, not the business part. I'm sorry. That I started learning.
Right.
And then, so I'm, around 17. Fast forward to, there was this digital curve, and I actually thought that I could not do photography the way I wanted because it was now digital. Digital was just becoming like this thing when we had the store, and that's kind of why the store's not around anymore, and we didn't cater to that. So it was after I was pregnant I had my third child. So let's fast forward about 15 years. And I just wanted to start a business. I have to be transparent though. My husband is talented, and people would always say, oh, he's so talented. He's so talented. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I can do something.
Yes. I love that.
So,
wow.
So that's why it started.
It's like you wanted to prove yourself.
I did.
You had your time to raise the children, and now you're like, it's my time to shine.
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of children, I'm a mom too, and I know how hard it is to balance that. And it's like you want to give all this energy to your children, but your business needs energy too. So how have you learned to get through that? You're still learning.
I'm still learning. I've had many lessons. The one thing that I know for me is that I've had regrets, and nothing's more important than the kids.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't matter, but I can still get caught up in what I'm doing. Now, my busy time is October to the end of the year, so we just know that I'm not really available. I don't really cook.
Mhm.
I don't even have time to go to the grocery store.
Same. Yeah. It's the real struggle, you guys.
Right. So I don't think it's really a balance. It's like almost like seasonal for me and then a give and take.
Right.
I'm just learning now how to make my schedule available online.
Mhm.
So that's something I just started doing to put my family first, is making an online schedule where I'm literally just sending it to them and they can find it on the website and my availability is there.
Right.
And based on sometimes how I'm feeling, I can go into like March and say, you know what, my husband's going to make more money for this month because his work is seasonal as well.
Right.
And I can subtract some days.
Cool.
So
wow, that's awesome
that
to
makes me
have
feel
that
good.
team where you can give a little sometimes and he can give a little
Right.
sometimes. You know what I mean?
And
That's
it's hard.
amazing.
I'm holding back.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
you want to do more.
I could do this 100. I love the business. It's tied with the photography and the art.
Yeah.
Wow.
So do you feel yourself craving wanting to get your hands on paint again or charcoal or
I feel like I should because it's just like I don't really now make as much time to just be creative.
Yeah.
And I need to do that because that's who I was before I had a business or before I had a mom or before I was a wife.
Yeah.
And that's important
Absolutely.
for an artist to be creating. And maybe that's why I put so much energy into the business on a business level. Like it is a business. It's supposed to make money.
Right.
So art aside, it's numbers and it's taking care of people and
Right.
trying to give good service, which that's something else I'm trying to learn.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a struggle too for any artist or creative. It's like we know what we love, but now putting in the back end, like logistics and filing and accounting, you know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That is when it's like, oh, this isn't what I love anymore. But
Right.
you have to get those back end things organized.
Especially if art is an escape.
Yeah.
And then
for
you have
sure.
to be organized. Yeah.
Definitely. That gives me an idea too to schedule in creative time. I think that I'm going to start adding that.
It sounds so adultish.
Yeah, let's schedule some creative time.
Arts and crafts.
Right, true.
I would like to sign up for a class. I need to do that. Thanks.
See, yeah. Very cool. So what if you could think back to any like major struggle when you're building this business, something that might have just hit you and knocked you down and you're just like, this, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Right. I would have to say, and this is a big thing across the board with photographers for this industry, is what your family and your friends say.
Oh.
You cannot count. You cannot count what they say.
They don't get it.
They don't get it, and they may not even get the business. And photography is this very interesting industry where people can just make extra money. But if you're trying to make a living from it, and you're running the business, I realized for me, I need to make money. It is about money.
Absolutely.
A business. It's
Absolutely.
about money. And then it's about money / offering a service to people. So that's kind of like, it's kind of been in steps because I cannot work on my business at like the full throttle like I want to. So I feel like I'm learning in baby steps. And every year goes by, it's a new lesson. So, like for this year, I want to focus on customer service.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I want it to be the same for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I get tired and don't follow through with some things as quick as I should.
Right. And everybody struggles with that. So anybody listening right now, if you're ever beating yourself up about I'm not doing this quick enough or I'm not on schedule or I'm behind the mark on whatever age you're at trying to get to those goals, just remember it's okay to take it slow and really just absorb the lessons being taught throughout the experience. It's not always about a rush.
Right.
Even though we are trying to pay our bills, it's not about a rush to the bank. It's just about using what we love to survive.
Right.
And providing something to the world with what we love as well.
Right.
That's really important too. Very, very cool. So, wow, I'm so inspired by you. And I remember you actually inspired me to increase my prices.
Yes, I did. I was going to say something.
Yes. So tell me about that and how scary it must have been to make that jump with your pricing.
Okay, so I started out in the dark room. So for me, I was getting paid here and there as an 18 and 19-year-old. So it wasn't foreign to me to offer a service to somebody. They'd come and look at their headshots via contact sheet. No, you're not leaving the store with the negatives.
Right.
I own those.
Yeah.
And I'm the best person to reproduce those for the person. So to me, that was like common sense. And oh my gosh, I forgot the question.
You're so funny. Increasing your prices.
Oh, increasing.
How scary was that? And how did you realize I need to do this to make it work?
Okay, so I had tried like the shoot and burn method where I was just saying yes to everything, and then I was sending the people their digitals and not hearing from them.
Yeah.
You have to understand, I know you do, I'm putting my heart and soul into these photos.
Absolutely.
You know, everything I had learned, this is years going into somebody's image. No matter no matter who I'm shooting, this is years of everything I've learned, all of the hardship that I've taken with me is going into this. It's very, very personal, the black and white specifically.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even hear from people. Not even I liked my photos. I just hated that. I hated that they weren't printing. I have an issue with that. I grew up around prints. We have 100-year-old prints from the family that are still preserved and on the wall. And I got into a really cool Facebook group, and I already knew that in-person sales worked because that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
So lucky for me, some people that, they make like $30,000 a month or it's a whole nother level. They gave me free advice. They gave me time on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of, this group, I don't think it's free anymore, but that helped me. And they would say, you have to do it for the money. It's a business.
Yes.
So I was, I don't know if I was really scared. I was excited and I knew it would work. And I even had friends who said, nobody's going to buy a print for $85.
Yeah.
And I said, watch me.
Right.
So, my first in-person sales, I didn't even have my pricing. I don't really believe in being totally prepared.
Right.
Because you'll never do it.
Yeah.
So I just went for it, and the sale was $2,000, which sounds like a lot, but because I didn't have like my business stuff prepared, 50% of it was going to printing prices. Okay. So then we have to install it, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
it was a learning experience.
It was a learning experience, but so that's how I just knew that. I wanted to serve a person who cared about photos, and it's not about a person who has money, because most of my clients, actually, I wouldn't say they're wealthy.
Right. They just value your work.
They just value, right. And they value their family.
Absolutely.
So I've had single moms spend, their hard-earned money on this, and I believe in what they're doing.
Right.
So I know I have some, friends that are photographers, and they have a really hard time adjusting their pricing, and they'll ask me, well, what do you think? Well, first of all, how much money do you want to make?
Right.
That's where your numbers start.
Absolutely.
And I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap.
Yeah.
And either way, I'm busting my butt to get photos done. And I can't do it for $5 an hour.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, that's so important. It took me a long time to work up the nerve, but when I saw you increase your prices, I was like, she can do it, I can do it. And anybody watching needs to remember that. If anybody can do it, you can do it. Right. That is what this whole podcast is all about, is letting you know we're all going through things and you can get through it as well. Right. So that's really, really exciting. And there's a client out there for any price range. You know what I mean? And I never grew up around money, so I didn't know there were so many people in the world with so much money, right? And willing to spend it.
They have a budget. They have a budget in mind. And say somebody, I don't do wedding photography, but say somebody they know they're going to spend $5,000, and they're shopping, and they find a photographer maybe who's not confident, and they're just starting out, but they give them they really lowball themselves, like say 500. That person who actually has 5,000 to spend wants to spend their 5,000, and now they're going to just pass on that person.
They feel more comfortable with the person charging more, because obviously there's better value in something that costs more. You know what I mean? And I hear clients tell me that all the time, is they're like, I don't mind spending the amount for a BMW to get the BMW quality, not so much as a car, but in service. Right. You know what I'm saying? So people have that mindset, and you have to remember that there's a client out there for you, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. So how's business right now for you?
So business, as far as, when you say business, I think of numbers. It's pretty slow. This is usually like my slow time.
Right.
I would say 70% of everything coming in is between October and the end of the year.
Wow.
So I do, so it's just kind of slow, and it's just starting to pick up. So I'm seeing a pattern. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
Very cool. Yeah. So during the slow times, that's your time to really recharge, get your creative juices flowing again.
Yeah.
Start planning. Yeah. Reorganizing. Right. I love those times.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And I'm an introvert. Yeah. So but it's a lot of energy going into other people.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you have to recharge sometimes.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what do you do for you when it's your time?
I love going to the gym. If I wasn't doing photography, maybe I'd pursue like personal training.
Wow.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
Cool.
So go to the gym. What else? I'll hang out with the kids. I'll watch Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm pretty busy because we do have 4 kids.
Yeah.
But I would say for me, it's going to the gym, and then depending on like how I'm feeling, I'll go get a pedicure or whatever.
Yeah.
I do like, doing things for myself. So that's not hard for me to find that time.
Good.
I'll make it happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, I'm so glad we got to chat.
I know.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks for driving out here.
Yeah, thank you for having us come out here. I absolutely love everything you're building for yourself.
Thanks.
And I'm so inspired by you as a
Thanks.
mom, as a professional, as a creative.
Oh, thanks.
You light me up inside. So thank you for everything. I'm going to give you a hug on camera.
Thanks, girl.
Thank you. All right, so we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe. Tell your friends and family about this. If you are tuning in right now, take a screenshot on your phone or your computer and post it on social media. Tag us at Passion and Persistence. And Linawa, where can people follow you at?
I am Linawa Shaffer Photography, so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and then there's a website.
Perfect. LinawaShafferPhotography.com.
Yes.
Awesome. So go and check her out. Her photography is absolutely amazing. She specializes in black and white, but she does color as well.
I do.
And she does it beautifully. So make sure you go and check out her website. And there you have it. Episode 5 of the Passion and Persistence podcast. Wasn't Linawa absolutely amazing? What was your favorite part of what she had to say and share with you all? I'd love to know. Make sure you leave us a review here on this podcast. Hit subscribe. Share this with your friends and family. Take a screenshot or screen recording. Post it on social media and tag us. We want to let the world know that with passion and persistence, anything is possible, and we need your help to get the word out. So make sure you tell your friends and family about this podcast. I cannot thank you enough for tuning in as always, and I hope that you were able to I know that you were able to pull a little piece of gold out of this episode that's going to help you get to where you deserve to be in life, in your business, in your personal pursuits, in your spiritual journey. Something in this episode was put in there specifically for you. So I hope that I see you again on the next episode of the Passion and Persistence podcast. Until then, go out there and chase your passion persistently.